I'm seeing for many of you, work and your career, and even your financial situation is like really blocking your progress when it comes to dating. So that could physically mean that you feel like you don't have the money to go out and, just spending money frivolously on dates, on outing and things like that. Dating doesn't always have to be expensive. It can get that way because, there's another person involved in the activities that you're doing, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And so finding, like, cheap alternative things to do when it comes to date, to going on a date, doing hiking, going to the beach, driving somewhere, as long as you're cautious about that, and also as long as you're conscious that there are other ways for you to invite another person into your life without spending an exorbitant amount of money. So I feel like some of you are physically struggling with your financial situation, and money is like either a major source of contention between you and your partner. Where's the money going? How are we spending money? One person might be very extravagant and the other person might be, kind of like might want to tighten the purse strings. So that's what I feel coming through. And then for others of you, you're heavily, heavily focused on your work and your career sector. It's like you're busy working all the time and you don't even have time to entertain the thought of dating, or you don't even have the time to, to connect with your dating partner or your romantic partner. So first of all, let me talk about the financial situation. It's shown up in 3 cards. So we have here the 7 of Coins. And the 7 of Coins is basically, it's a work card. This is also when we see 2 people, having like a common ground, having common like goals, having common purposes in life. They want the same things out of life and they feel like they're the right fit and they're willing to work together to build a future together. I feel for some of you, this is a situation where, the 2 of you cannot agree, and I feel like this is for coupled people. You cannot agree on where to allocate money. You have disagreements over a financial, situation. There might even be financial entanglements between like one partner and an ex, and they're trying to move on and, you're trying to date, or it could be you or your partner where there's still financial discussions, unresolved financial situation with an ex that's really interfering in your current relationship. And I have as well the Temperance card. This is your card in the Major Arcana. And basically what it means is doing things in a very slow, methodical manner. And not rushing, not jumping to conclusions, not, letting your temper getting the best of you. Be very, very patient. Be very, I want to say like, be very, just slow down this month, because I feel like these tensions, especially financial tensions, are going to escalate. You don't want it to get the best of you. Okay. And also be careful when it comes overall to your spending. I feel like many of you need to keep need to keep like a clear budget, especially when it comes to your spending. In the past, what I have here is the 2 of Coins. I'm going to steer away, first of all, from the financial situation and talk about this. This is a card about, somebody juggling 2 options, having multiple people on the table, having multiple options on the table. And, I also feel like you might have been dealing with this person where they had you and they had another person on the side. And I also feel like this was a situation that some of you might have inkling about. You might have known about it, okay? With the 7 of Cups here. And I feel for many of you, you were the third party and you knew about it, and you might have thought, oh, I wonder if that person is going to leave their significant other to be with me. And then for others, I feel like you might be like, either the wife, the wife or the husband. And then I feel like the other person, you might have found out about it, because I feel like when it's in the reverse position, it's like the reality sinking in, right? Like you knew that that's what it was. And so because of that, this person is now showing up in the past position. And for some of you, it might have been an earth sign. So a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And what we have here is information coming to light, the truth being revealed. And I feel that the truth was there in the past. It's like, I don't feel like this is news to you. I don't feel like this is something that, all of a sudden you stumbled upon certain information. I feel like you hung on to that relationship, hoping things would get better, hoping things would turn around the way that you want. And the truth of the matter is, I feel like a lot of people have broken off relationships during that eclipse that we had, back in the last month in August. It's a major, major eclipse, especially happening in a retrograde, Mercury retrograde cycle. So I feel like a lot of information came to light. And with new information, especially because, you are somebody that really pride yourself on honesty and you care about honesty in other people. I feel like you've had to let that person go. Okay. It was kind of like the point of no return. This is not acceptable. And I feel like many of you have broken up with a relationship partner, mainly because either because of financial struggles or because there was that, double act. They were juggling two people. They had multiple options on their plate. So I feel many of you are coming into this month single. And the foundation is something that you know to be true. I have here the Magician. This might have been the person that you were interacting with as well. What we have here is somebody who is very, very extravagant, okay? They're generally very intelligent, really, really smart, very exciting to talk to, very exciting to be with. And it seems almost like they're the life of the party. When it shows up in the reverse, it's kind of like what you see is not always what you get. They might talk a big game, but when it comes to following through, when it comes to kind of like their words do not match up with their actions. So they might just be a talker and not a doer. It's linked up here with the King of Swords in the reverse. So I feel like some of you might be involved here with this air sign. And this air sign might be the one that, is either like spending money very, very extravagantly or talking a big game and not being able to deliver it when it matters. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra that you were dealing with. And for some of you too, I feel like this is somebody that might have, you might still be financially linked up with, like an ex, and you're trying to move on with your life, but there's still a lot of blockages when it comes to extracting yourself from this person. And then for others, this might just be that juggler that you were, they kind of like created this pipe dream scenario for you. And then when it matters, they're not able to deliver and they're not able to tell you the truth about it. They're not being truthful and honest with you. So moving into the future position, we have here the Hangman and the Five of Coins. If you are financially still linked up with, people from your past that you're trying to extract yourself from, there is still going to be a little bit of a hang up. Okay. And then for others of you, if you are no longer investing yourself in a relationship, for example, if it's a marriage and you're seeking divorce, you're seeking like legal counsel to figure out like, what's the best option for me? I feel like there are a lot of financial considerations that it's like you're looking through the numbers, you're looking at the books and you're trying to figure out, is it financially feasible for me to leave this person? Are my assets covered? Will I be able to recover the assets? Will we be able to split things 50-50? So I feel like there are a lot of financial decisions riding upon a decision of whether or not you stay in a relationship or whether or not you leave. So my advice here is there seem to be some duplicitous people that you're dealing with, and staying in that situation doesn't look good. Okay. For those of you who are single, I feel that you are heavily immersed in work. I also feel that you are like either it just feels to me like you're using work as well as a distraction. So people might ask you, why aren't you dating? And you're just like, oh, work is too much, or I'm so busy all the time. And I feel that, yes, you are. But as humans, whenever something is important to us, we always prioritize it. That's just our natural inclination. So I feel that you need to, get out and about and start feeling attractive again, start feeling lovable again. This is kind of like being stuck in a cave. You have offers coming in, people are just like reaching out to you from inside that cave. You're inside the cave, they're reaching out to you and they're like, hey, let's do this tonight. Let's do that. I have a party. Do you want to go to it? So you have invitations, you have people soliciting you, and I feel like this is also in friendship as well. And you need to be in a place where you can be seen, where you can be heard in order for you to make new connections with other people. So I feel some of you are resisting dating, and then others I feel like have just gotten out of a relationship and you feel like, I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to, make sure that I am healthy, that I am emotionally stable, that I am emotionally at a point where I can give myself to another person. So there's a lot of hesitations from your end about dating, especially if you are single for this month, Sagittarius. But I do feel for many of you, you're dealing with somebody that really hurt you. And I feel like a lot of it stems from deception, like somebody being duplicitous, somebody being, it's like they moved you along and you thought things were going to go a specific way. And then at the last minute, it's like very, very unexpected, like a 180 turn. And I feel as if some of you had like, warning signs that this was going to happen. And I feel like you hung on to it, hoping things would get better. But I do feel the person that you're dealing with here, the magician in the reverse, what you see is not what you get. The King of Swords in the reverse, very, very intelligent partner. But I feel like they have trouble being honest and being truthful. Okay? I am sorry, Sagittarius. I hope not a lot of you are dealing with this, but I feel like, especially if you're single, if you've just broken up and you're single right now, take your time. But for others who have been single for a while, I feel like you have a few invitations, especially from friends. So, put yourself in situations where you can interact with more people, where you can get out and about. Okay. So don't hide away in your cave.